Welcome to Why You Feel Responsible for Everyone Series Part 1. There is a difference between caring about people and feeling responsible for them. Most people never stop to examine that difference. But for many daughters, that difference quietly shapes their entire lives. You care when someone is upset. You care when someone is struggling. You care when someone is disappointed. That is human. But somewhere along the way, caring can become carrying. And carrying is different. Carrying means their emotions begin affecting your emotional state. Their disappointment becomes your problem. Their stress becomes your burden. Their conflict becomes your responsibility. Their well-being becomes something you feel obligated to manage. Not because anyone explicitly asked you to, because it feels automatic. And when something feels automatic for long enough, it starts feeling like part of your personality. You may describe yourself as caring, supportive, helpful, empathetic, responsible. But beneath those qualities, there may be another pattern operating, a belief that other people's emotional experiences somehow belong to you. And many daughters spend years living inside that belief, without ever questioning it. Today we're going to explore why. Not from the perspective of trauma, not from the perspective of nervous system regulation, but from the perspective of responsibility itself. Because many women are not exhausted by life, they are exhausted by carrying lives that were never theirs to carry. Section 1. The difference between caring and carrying. Most daughters don't recognize emotional responsibility because it often looks like kindness. It looks like checking in, offering support, being thoughtful, being dependable, being considerate. The problem is not those behaviors. The problem is the emotional weight sitting underneath them. Consider this question. When someone you love is upset, what happens inside you? Do you feel compassion, or do you feel urgency? There is a difference. Compassion says, I care that you're struggling. Urgency says, I need to fix this. Compassion allows space. Urgency creates responsibility. Many daughters live with urgency so consistently they mistake it for love. They assume, if I care enough, I should help. If I help enough, I should solve it. If I can solve it, I should. And before long, they become emotionally responsible for experiences that do not belong to them. Not because they lack boundaries, because they have never questioned where responsibility ends and connection begins. Section 2. The responsible daughter role. Every family develops roles. Some children become visible, some become rebellious, some become invisible, some become achievers, and some become responsible. The responsible daughter is often praised. She's mature, reliable, independent, helpful. She doesn't create problems. She solves them. Adults trust her. Teachers admire her. People depend on her. And because these qualities receive approval, the role becomes reinforced. The daughter learns something powerful. Being needed creates belonging. Being useful creates value. Being dependable creates connection. Over time, usefulness becomes the language through which she experiences love. Not consciously, but deeply. The role works, so she keeps performing it. Years later, she becomes the friend everyone calls, the colleague everyone relies on, the partner who carries the emotional labor, the woman who quietly holds everything together. And because the role receives praise, nobody notices how heavy it becomes. Sometimes, not even her. Section 3. When responsibility becomes identity. There comes a point where responsibility stops being something you do. It becomes who you believe you are. The responsible one, the reliable one, the strong one, the person who can handle anything. At first, this sounds positive, but every identity comes with a hidden cost. Because once responsibility becomes identity, letting go feels threatening. If I'm not helping, who am I? If I'm not needed, who am I? If I'm not solving problems, who am I? If I'm not carrying people, who am I? Many daughters never ask these questions because staying useful feels safer. But usefulness and identity are not the same thing. Being needed is not the same as being known. Being relied upon is not the same as being loved. Being useful is not the same as being valued. And yet many women spend years trying to earn belonging through responsibility, not realizing they are chasing something responsibility can never provide. Section 4. The cost of always being the one who carries every role extracts a price. The responsible daughter role is no different. The cost is often invisible at first. Exhaustion, overwhelm, resentment, burnout, emotional fatigue, difficulty resting, difficulty receiving help, difficulty asking for support. The woman becomes exceptional at giving, but uncomfortable receiving, exceptional at helping, but uncomfortable needing, exceptional at carrying, but uncomfortable being carried. Eventually, life starts feeling one-sided. Not because nobody cares, because she has become more comfortable providing support than accepting it. And that imbalance becomes exhausting. Not overnight, over years, sometimes decades. Section 5. Why this doesn't feel like a pattern. Perhaps the hardest part of emotional responsibility is that it rarely feels unhealthy. It feels normal. It feels familiar. It feels like personality. Many daughters say, "This is just who I am. I've always been this way. I'm naturally responsible. I'm naturally caring." And perhaps some of that is true. But there is a difference between a personality trait and a survival role. Personality feels flexible. Roles feel compulsory. Personality allows choice. Roles create obligation. Personality says, "I'd like to help." The role says, "I have to help." And that difference changes everything. Because once responsibility stops being a choice, it stops being kindness. It becomes burden. And burdens eventually demand attention, whether we acknowledge them or not. If you've spent years feeling responsible for everyone, I want you to consider something. What if your value does not come from carrying people? What if your worth does not come from fixing problems? What if being needed is not the same as being loved? Because many daughters spend years trying to earn belonging through responsibility, and yet responsibility was never meant to become identity. In the next episode, we're going deeper. We're exploring why responsibility feels so uncomfortable to release, why guilt appears when you stop helping, and why your nervous system may have learned that carrying people creates safety. Because understanding the role is one thing, understanding why your body clings to it is another. And that's where we'll go next. And if these patterns feel familiar, make sure you're subscribed to the channel. This series is designed to help you move from recognition to understanding to identity reconstruction. Because awareness is only the beginning. And if you've spent years carrying responsibilities that were never yours, the next episodes may help you understand why. Now let's continue.